Yeah, I met a critic and I put my nuts in it. Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome back to the Games Cage. Today, and only today, I thought we would do something really fun in this little slow period we have in January, and that is finally go through Sonic's Metacritic history. Because as you know, this is a franchise that's been notorious for critics versus fans, but I figured it would be fun to go through the history, see when critics were actually spitting versus when I felt they were wrong, and just sort of see how like the language and communication about Sonic has evolved over time. And by the way, guys, I do want to hit the big 100K this year, and if you guys have been enjoying the content and want more crazy shit, make sure to subscribe to your boy, like the videos, and as always, I'm so thankful. By the way, you guys are like some of the best community ever for like comments. You guys are always writing the essays in the comments, and you guys know me, I always try to answer as many people as possible. All right, without further ado, so this website is not really the best. I'm gonna try to go through them by release date on Metacritic, but it's not all accurate. Let's start with our first one over here, and this is Sonic Shuffle. Sonic Shuffle sitting here at about a 54. I'm not gonna lie to you, that's like fine. For what Sonic Shuffle is as a party game, it's fine. Let's see what some of the reviews had to say about it at the time. With a lot of creativity, Sonic Team has taken the board game to the digital age and made a fun, sometimes frustrating board game that is a lot more than throwing some dice and moving around. I still gotta play this game in a modern setting. I feel like it's one of the few Sonic games that I haven't really dove into, but it's cool that some of these reviewers liked it. It can be tedious in one-player mode, but it's clearly intended for multiplayer fun. Although it's only the party game for the Dreamcast, Sonic Shuffle deals a great hand for all play. You know, it got me thinking, like, I really do wish we got more Sonic party games, because Sega has dabbled in Sonic minigame collections. I mean, they developed the Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, right? They have the minigame mode in Sonic and the Secret Rings and Sonic and the Black Knight. Like, they clearly in some way care a little bit about having Sonic in a party setting, but I would like an official release. I guess we're getting Sonic Rumble next year, which is kind of like the closest thing, but you know, it's nice to know there was a time where they tried. Let's see, like on the lower end here. 67, there are so many rules, combos, mini games, and quests that's easy to get a little bit more than confused, but the essence of the game is fun, and all of the variation leaves tons of room for competition. Let's see, we got a 60 over here. Drop the ball on pacing, rewarding gameplay, technical use of the systems, and even the storyline. It's still moderately fun, but the potential for a blockbuster new franchise is not evident. Interesting. So, like, honestly, the reviews, yeah, sitting here in the 50s. IGN, of course, right here, the classic. Everything that can make a board game less enjoyable is done here. And I'm talking about load times up the wazoo, complex instructions, and too many options that would bewilder most players, especially during a multiplayer game. That's what I've heard a lot about the game, is that, like, it's got depth, but sometimes it's a little bit too much for the player. But yeah, no, it did not seem like this one really had. Oh my god, a 25 load times and boring minigames will have this one appearing in the used game and faster than you could say ugh. Next one, I am shocked actually saying this. Sonic Adventure with an 87. Actually, this is probably one of the highest reviewed Sonic games ever, and obviously this is one the fans love, but I'm actually kind of shocked and happy to see that critics like it. We got a 100 over here. What really shines even on the top of the great graphics and sound and gameplay is the replay value. Obviously, you know, a big deal in Sonic Advance, you know, playing as the different characters, all the different gameplay. Damn, another 100. Yahoo! Wow, holy shit, Yahoo! Also, Nintendo Files is like an awful name for a website. I just realized that. 100s everywhere. The best Sonic game since Sonic CD. It looks and sounds plays like a cartoon, and most importantly, it's just damn fun. Damn, okay. Games Radar over here with a 92, despite 12 years since its debut. It's as captivating, exciting, and more importantly, as fun as it ever was. But with Sega, we'd expect none the less. Really cool, man. That makes me happy that, like, I guess if there ever was a Sonic Advance remaster bring back, maybe a lot of the critics would actually give it nice scores. Wow, we have the 91 from IGN. It's graphically excellent. It sounds great. It puts the link cable feature to outstanding use, and its GameCube connectivity opens up potential never before available. So this is actually news to me. I didn't even know Sonic Advance had GameCube wired capabilities, but cool that it did. And also, like, I guess, yeah, the one thing about Sonic Advance that no critic or anybody could ever deny is how good the sprite work is in Sonic Advance. I mean, to this day, some of that sprite work is put to good use. So I'm really happy that it scored really well, really high reviews. I'm trying to see what happens if we get even, like, yeah, the lowest review is a 75. The game managed to do something its 3D counterparts could never do. Catch my interest and hold on to it. Okay, well, all right, see, this is the mean behavior I don't like, okay? I spent a lot of time looking around each level, experimenting with each character, and attempting to find various Chow Emeralds. They're right over here. So, cool shit. I mean, I'm really happy. This one, critics I have a W. You know, so far, 2 for 2 on Sonic reviews. I'm not too upset. All right, the next recorded review we have here is actually the Sonic Mega Collection on the GameCube in 2002. And again, sitting at a 75, which I honestly, like, even just looking at it, pretty fair. I mean, it's in the green. It's a collection of games, and so it's probably just judging it as that, right? For $40, is one of the greatest compilations of games ever released. Damn, that was $40 back in the day. They would never do that, right? You got a 90 over here by game that Sonic fans owe it to themselves to pick this up. Whoa, hold on. If I thought the first Sonic was good, I was completely blown away by the second game. Damn. I mean, this one's like a less interesting one to go through just because, again, it is just like, hey, you're playing these old games again. Even IGN was nice. A wonderful little collection that, while not perfect, is a great value. I like that a lot. What did GameStop have to say with a 72? If you're fiending for Sonic the Hedgehog and either don't have or unwilling to drag out a dusty Genesis from the closet, don't hesitate to give this a shot. I mean, yeah, listen, the Mega Collection is a lot of people's introductions to classic Sonic games, you know, being able to play some of the classics and CD and all that. And honestly, even if you look at the user score here, pretty high up. So again, they're kind of 3 for 3 right here on these, bro. Here it is, our first controversial one a little bit, and that is Sonic Adventure 2 on the GameCube. So I guess they didn't have reviews yet for the original game. I'm not gonna lie to you. First of all, really cool. I forgot that Sonic Adventure 2 had the Player's Choice label. Good, probably because it was selling well. Honestly, I'm kind of pleasantly surprised that it's this high. I mean, 73 again means there's a lot of greens, a lot of yellows, and obviously even to this day with fans, they argue that Sonic Adventure 2, you know, has its flaws with the different characters, which I'm sure we're about to see with some reviews. But let's start from the top. We got a 90 from Hot Game. Shout out to Hot. I love these old video game website names. The way the Advance interacts with the cube is flawless, and if you have Sonic Advance, and we recommend you pick it up, it's a nice touch. Okay, so that's an interesting, you know, anecdote. The graphics are flawless, super smooth, seamless environment, stretch on far as the eye can see. While the GameCube should easily be able to do this, it's the frenetic pace that makes it most impressive. Okay, let's go towards the 70s here. Nintendo, oh god, not the Nintendo files, bruh. Oh god, unfortunately, Knuckles, Rouge gameplay, camera problems, some sound problems, and limited replay value hurt the game in song run. Okay, limited replay value feels a little bit capped, but yeah, I can understand the Knuckles and Rouge criticism, right? 90s from Nintendo. Say, oh, there's IGN with a 69. Nice. I'm more annoyed by the gameplay mechanics and head-spinning level design than I am satisfied. Okay, he was a little angry. 68 by Gesa. While it has its moments, its lack of refinement makes playing it as disjointed and frustrating experience. Okay. Entertainment Weekly reviewing games at 67 offers a glimpse of brilliance, but lacks the magic that made the original Genesis classic. Damn. So there were some harsh ones. The harshest was actually Yahoo. Although the two-player mode is entertaining, there's not enough variety to keep you going for long, and the quabbles with the camera and the music are the icing and unsatisfied. Okay, see, that's fucking crazy, bro. You're gonna sit here and talk to me about the music not hitting in Sonic Adventure? This is why I don't think some people did. See, I don't know, man. Nah, bro. I mean, to be fair, like I said, a lot of these reviews are fair, right? The other character play styles for Sonic Adventure 2 can be a little messy, but there's still a lot of great reviews here, you know? I think if we did get an Adventure 2 remake or remaster, it would maybe review better, but for the most part, I'm fine. I am fine with it getting a 73. I'm not mad at this one. All right, the next one we have reviewed is Sonic Spinball Party. Hey, man. They really like these Game Boy Advance Sonic games. I mean, a 77. It's in the green. Obviously, not too many reviews. And I've played this game. It's fun. It's pinball, right? Game now with a 91. Everything looks fabulous, and the pinball physics are dead on, but the difficulty could have used a bit more tweaking. Okay. Understandable game now with a 91. 85 from Deco. While it's fast-paced levels, challenging story mode, and the minigames galore, Sonic Pinball Party is a good time no matter how old you are. IGN with an 83. A great game, but not quite a must-have. A lot of 80s for the game here. It takes the familiar characters and graphics from the three of Sega's most cherished franchises and uses them to create an especially satisfying pinball game. I mean, yeah, I feel like pinball games are actively hard to make bad. Like, you have to go out of your way to make a pinball game bad for it to get bad reviews. Just like All Games Guy did think that with a 40. Side Hedgehog is no longer a character who can be depended upon for quality games. Unlike a certain Italian plumber, a limbless alien, or even an orange bandicoot. Oh my god! A limbless, they're talking about Ray-Ban over here. Shit, this guy. See, this is our first remnants of a Sonic hater here. Cheat Code Central. Pinball games are largely disposable and not recommended for anybody more than a rental. Same applies here, which I'm not gonna lie to you, man. At the time, every game was getting a pinball game. Like, there was Pokemon pinball, there was Mario pinball, there was like just a bunch of pinball games. So I get not being that into it, but for the most part, again, like another one that I think is fair so far. I'm fine with these reviews so far. I'm not upset about them. Our next official set of reviews here is Sonic Advance 2, and again, another great one, bro. 83 on Metacritic is kind of like how I would score the game if I was around the 80s. Really good shit, all in the green over here. Let's see what's going on. G4 gave it a 100. Sonic fans will be in heaven, as will anyone who enjoys a good, healthy adrenaline. Okay, damn, this guy was praising. He was having a good time with it. The graphics are just as bliss. Crazy parallax, glistening crystals, heat waves, blinking neon sprites, crazy animations, everything you love about 32-bit. Well, almost. It's no what? Astel is on display with 100. CinemaScape with a 100. The levels are huge now. While they are pretty big before, they are basically straightforward, not anymore. Awesome. Hey man, I'm happy with this. I mean, a lot of really good reviews for the game. IGN even hitting it with the 90. As good as the original Sonic Advance was, the sequel was a much better platformer. Damn. GameSpot. The levels are larger and require more exploration than the typical Sonic game. The abilities of the 5 separate playable characters actually have an influence over the strategy you'll use to complete an area. Okay, so pretty great reviews for the game for the most part. Let's see when we go a bit like lower to the 70s. Here's a game that openly discourages Sonic and his friends from fully embracing the thing that made Sega's mascot popular in the first place: raw, uncontrolled speed. Yahoo with a 60. There's no surprise Sonic Advance 2. The lower your expectations, the more you'll enjoy this game. Okay, so Yahoo, see, we can see guys here, Yahoo a bit on their hater arc, 2 for 2 on these kind of mid reviews they've got. What it doesn't have is originality or depth, making the sequel more subsonic than supersonic. Okay, so those are on the lower end, but for the most part, man, like 80s and 90s and even some hundreds across the board. I kind of agree with that. Besides the boss fights in Sonic Advance 2 could be a bitch, but the levels themselves are fire. But again, so far, I'm fine with these. And here's our big one, our next mainline game, Sonic Heroes for the GameCube with a 72. And again, I'm not gonna lie to you, this is a pretty good score for the game. As someone who like is known, I'm pretty known to not really like Heroes. I think it's a lot of style, but it has a lot of issues controls. I'm actually shocked it has this high of a score, to be frankly honest with you. Let's go through some of these. So Play Magazine with a 100. Next Level Gaming with a 90. I absolutely love the music in this game. GameZilla with a 90. It's cool to see that critics actually really like Sonic Heroes. And again, another proof of concept that if Heroes were to get a remake or a re-release, there would be a lot of nostalgia for it and a lot of excitement for the title. We had Deco here with an 85. While the game suffers from some of the rather terrible camera problems, and the adventure itself isn't overly interesting from a storyline sense, the gameplay action is fast, furious, and fun. Okay, I'm going. Let's see. Famitsu with the 888 scored. IGN with an 80. Still not perfect, but it's fun, and there are moments in the game, admittedly more short-lived than I'd have liked, where the action, speed, and sheer intensity approach a state of nothing short of mesmerizing. I'm shocked that more of these reviews aren't harsher on some of the replay campaigns, but maybe a lot of them just played Team Sonic, or people just liked it more back then, right? Reviews. Once you get into the 70s here, the glorious 3D speed rush is still broken by moments where you will cream with rage, inspired by whatever sadism or idiocy at Sonic Team from fixing its camera and control schemes after 5 years of 3D Sonic games, which, to be fair, yeah, understandable. I would say, I don't know if I have too much of an issue with the camera in Heroes, because oftentimes, like, you're kind of just going forward, but sometimes when you're trying to like go backwards at a spot or something, it can be a bitch. The game's graphics aren't on par with today's consoles offering. Sure, the worlds are colorful and large, but perhaps the development of Sonic Japan's Team Studios has to sacrifice visuals for speed. Yahoo, again, on their 70s, gamers who haven't exactly stuck by Sonic's blurry blue side over the years will have to work a little harder to get the fun. Pretty good reviews across the board. There are a lot of 60s, where I'm seeing Eurogamer here. The camera is crap. The scale is awkward. The story and characters are basic and cringeworthy. The combat is tedious. The platforming and puzzling is too basic, and I was well bored by it by the time I conquered the final level with the first of the 14s, which wasn't even that long after I first grabbed it out of the shrink wrap. Damn. So Eurogamer a bit on its hater arc. A lot of 50s over here. The lowest being NetJack with a 40. Sonic Heroes takes a simple concept, makes it more complex, seemingly for the sake of complexity, and the result is an overly frustrating game that feels like more work than fun. Okay, so I'm looking over here from the ones we've read. and just the overall score, I think this is pretty fair. I mean, it's cool to see that a lot of critics really liked the game and the multiple playable characters. Good shit. I mean, for the most part, I would kind of agree with the score. If anything, it's more generous than I would have it overall. But okay, so far we're fine. I mean, I wonder when this shift happens, because so far on the reviews, I feel like it's been pretty fair on Sonic. All right, our next review here on January 5th, 2004, Sonic Battle with a 69. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I replayed Sonic Battle recently. I think this score is probably pretty fair. You know, I think Sonic Battle's sprite work is amazing, but the progression can be a complete bitch. Sometimes the AI can be complete ass, but let's see what some of these reviews had to say. So Ace Games had it at a 90, a charming game with a riveting plot, and most of all, a fun and challenging engine at heart, which I agree. Pocket Games over here with a 90, stuffed with enough game modes and options to make any console fighting games jealous. Okay, Deco with a 90. It offers up some quite astounding amount of depth for such a pint size fighting game and allows for some truly exciting multiplayer madness. Yeah, I guess back in the day you'd have to like link the Game Boy cables to play multiplayer together, but if you could, it'd be really fun. There's the Nintendo files. I wonder if are these guys still around. Not only does this game offer probably the best multiplayer Game Boy experience since Legend of Zelda 4 Swords, but the story mode, challenge mode, and excellent gameplay make it a great single player experience. So far, pretty good shit. Even IGN was pretty generous on the game here. 70 with Game Pro. The biggest problem with Sonic Battle is the poor game design in story mode. Earning skill points and thereby new abilities for Emerald the Robot is a grueling ordeal, which I kind of agree. Like, slowly earning Emerald's points takes a lot of time, and again, some of those fights can be hella slow. But yeah, we have computer and video games with a 68. With a few more buttons to play, you could have a broader list of moves for Sonic, and also a decent amount of control. So these guys had their issues. Game Informer with a 60. The single player story is unspeakably repetitive, and the multiplayer games can be equally frustrating since 8 playable characters is seriously unbalanced. Which, yeah, I mean, when we go even on the lower side, damn, this probably has the biggest, lowest scores we have here. So fighting really isn't Sonic's strength, at least not with the regard of good gameplay. He needs to be kept on his feet. A bald blue burr, not flat on his face. Damn, games with a 20 over here. If a title were to prove that 3D fighters don't work with sprite-based characters on a small screen, Sonic Battle would be that game. Attack connections is nothing short of a joke, and the appealing character bouncing doesn't make it any funner. So this is probably the lowest score for a game so far we've had, but again, I still think like 69 for the game, nice. It's pretty fair unless someone disagrees. So far Metacritic history is not too bad, y'all. All right, next one we have Sonic Advance 3. Okay, June 7th, 2004 with a 79, and I'm not gonna lie to you guys right now, we saw Advance 1 at an 89, Advance 2 with an 83, this one's 79. I'm not gonna lie, I played Sonic Advance 3 when I did a retrospective on it, which you can go check. It's like an older video I did. I kind of agree with this overall. I mean, I have a great time with Sonic Advance 3. I think getting the Chaos Emeralds can be a bitch. I think sometimes the team-ups aren't really clear or useful, but the idea of it is pretty fantastic. But let's go see what the critics had to say over here. So 92 with Nintendojo. The value of this cartridge will keep you playing until your fingers rub raw. Hey, yo, pause. Ace Games with a 90. They've tweaked and improved the gameplay considerably, including 2 fantastic multiplayer games, and wrapped it all up in a beautifully drawn and dynamic sounding environment. You know, I'm noticing like a lot of these reviews really factored multiplayer for Game Boy Advance. I guess the link cable was more popular than I realized. I kind of, whenever I thought about the Game Boy cable, it was like I thought maybe a few people use it, but it's nice to see that, like, you know, it was mostly a thing. I guess the more critics factored in. IGN with a 90. The additions of tag team characters to Sonic Advance 3 definitely changes things up considerably, as do much larger and more expansive level design. So a lot of 90s, a lot of high 80s, all the way down here. The lower end is like 70s, right? Everything else you'd expect from the blue blurs, 2D exploits, dynamic moments, and solid but clunky feedback, making for a satisfying game regardless. Okay, a lot of 70s for the game. Game Informer with a 68. There are great characters that have been the same since the start of the franchise. I want more new. And honestly, it's kind of crazy. Like, the lowest here is just a 60. But honestly, man, I think we can all kind of agree Sonic Advance 3 pretty fairly reviewed so far. Damn, I'm so curious. Like, I'm so far so good on these reviews. It is not as bad as I thought it would be. All right, the next recorded review in Sonic history here is Sonic Rush with an 82. Holy shit. Again, great. I am totally happy with this one. An 80 for the game is pretty fantastic. I could already tell I know what the flaws of the game are. It would be, you know, maybe having to replay the game twice in the same levels and the bottomless pits and some of the design, but sprite work, music, gameplay, everything is fire. Games Radar gave it a 100. Sonic may be in a rush, but Sega clearly wasn't when they crafted this glorious game. Damn, okay, 95 with Play Magazine. That Sonic Epiphany we've been waiting for all these years has finally arrived. A 92 by Digital Entertainment here. One of the few DS games that not only takes advantage of the platform, but doesn't try to shoehorn in every used feature, as well as having great gameplay, which I agree. And that's kind of like the flaw I end up having with Sonic Rush Adventure, is that it takes too much advantage of the DS instead of just being like, hey, use both screens for some fun. Really high reviews, a lot of 80s over here. The lowest it goes to is a 60 from GameStop, perhaps the first Sonic game that had GameStop reaching for the instruction manual. Starts a bit vague in regards to how it should be played, but soon clicks into place. Even like the lowest score kind of enjoys it. So yeah, no, I'm pretty happy with how critics treated Sonic Rush. Pretty good score over here. All right, and here is our first awful Sonic game review. Shadow the Hedgehog PS2 with a 45 on Metacritic. And again, I know this is a title a lot of us enjoy over time, right? You can even see in the user score here. I get this one, especially for the time, right? This is like such a crazy Tocho. I'm so curious to see over here. So the highest we get here is a 75, right? So I narrowly recommend it for the series Die Hard, unless it keeps you from buying Rush, in which case you should opt out for your DS. You should opt for your DS right away. Which, that's awesome though. We just saw the Sonic Rush reviews praising it, and then they're like, don't buy this one, man. This reminds, like, Shadow and DS Rush coming out at the same time is so reminiscent to me of Mania and Forces coming out the same year, where you just have a completely different review thoughts on these. The next review is a 70 by Game Over Online. Shadow the Hedgehog has a couple good ideas that are ruined by sorry gameplay. What happened? With a 60 over here, bonus stage, a monumental letdown, no ifs and buts about it. The magic of 2D versions have all but been lost in search for technical accomplishments, and it suffers terribly for it. So damn, y'all, happened. IGN with a 47, a long list of shortcomings from stupid level design, unrefined controls, and useless gunplay to disappointingly outdated graphics. Damn, bro, a lot of bad reviews here. GameSpot with a 40, the lack of speed is a real problem. Pal GN with a 40, Shadow the Hedgehog could signal death of Sonic spin-offs. The title tries too hard to impress and ultimately fails miserably. Wow, holy shit, look at these 40s on 40s. 25 by Gaming Age. Combine the relatively poor visuals with monotonous level designs, and you'll find yourself in the middle of a level with no real visual cues where you are within the level. Damn, that's really brutal, because I replayed through the game recently, and honestly, like, if you do just kind of a one and done straight shot beginning to end with an ending or two, like, I think you could have a good time. But yeah, I mean, I can understand on a critical point of view how, like, this game is such a tonal shift for Sonic. You know, even though I think it's cool, and I love, like, now in hindsight, stuff like the motorcycle is cool, the gun is cool, the stuff they try to do with Shadow Story is cool. This random tonal shift for the series was probably too much, and I think we can start to see it. I wonder, now that we're continuing these reviews, how, like, that's going to translate going through. Well, before the future, we did have a Sonic Gems collection released on August 16, 2025. It's so weird to see, like, old footage of it. Like, guys, it's just Sonic the Fighters. But I mean, look, the collections reviewing 64 considerably less than the Mega collection that was released before. I think because it just had, like, less care in it. It was just kind of like, here's the games, you know, available on GameCube, right? 85 for Nintendo Power here, worth the price of admission for Sonic CD alone, which is a pretty good deal. Gamer Feed with a 70. The title's still worth picking up with the classic Sonic CD game, as well as a few other fun titles that will provide hours of retro gaming. So far, you know, over here, why is it getting 60s is my curiosity. Unless you're a devout Sonic fan, you probably haven't heard of most of the games including here. A few new exceptions. Most of these games aren't really worth hearing about. Damn, a lot of 60s and 50s for this, man. Sadly, this is a curiosity and nothing more. Sonic CD isn't bad, but the others make us feel, well, uneasy. Damn, that's fucking brutal. Why'd you give it a 30? Short of Sonic CD, there's really not much here for casual Sonic fans, as they'll either grow bored or quickly blaze through everything here. Yeah, I mean, I get it. It's a game compilation with maybe nothing too interesting, I guess, besides Sonic CD being included. But hey, I'm not too mad at this one. I mean, I feel like it's a little bit harsh, but I can live with this one scoring like this. All right, this is the first one that has upset me. Sonic Riders in 2006 with a 55 on Metacritic. This one bothers me. This 100% bothers me. Now, before we get into the reviews, I can somewhat get it. I know that learning this game, the difficulty curve is really, really fucking high. And I know that learning it is peak, but if you are playing on a casual basis, I'm sure it can be a nightmare, just like we're about to see. So let's see what some of the higher reviews. So 82, just don't believe the hate. So right away, it felt like this game had issues right from the top review saying, don't listen to the hate. Total PlayStation with an 80. I swung back and forth so many times on Riders gameplay that I nearly had an emotional breakdown. The game can even seem impossibly difficult until you learn the shortcuts and master every turn. If that's your cup of tea, get all over it. If not, rent it. Damn. So, Game Zone with a 70 over here. The series' most notable feature, unparalleled speed, was somehow lost in the installment. Frustration prevails in an element, and I hope is excluded from all future Sonic releases. Damn, you're a little bit mean. We have Gamer Blink with a 67. If you're a Sonic diehard, you already have it. If you're not, you should never touch it. It's probably the best Sonic racer ever created, as you might know, this means nothing. Damn, that's really mean. Take that back, bro. Take that back. That's not nice. It got even to the low 40s and 30s, bro. Yahoo with a 40. Why not make a game starring Sonic and Sonic only? Why is he running around with his own two? Why isn't he? Wait, where he's running with his own two legs without any weapons besides his own body? Is an action platformer? Crazy, yes, but it might just work. Okay, so there. Damn, this is the era where reviews are okay with being a little bit sassier and a little bit more mean, right? You go over here to 37, an absurd racer that should be put through one of its own curses of punishment. This sucks. Damn. Holy shit, a 20 by Computer Games Magazine. This isn't much of a racing game as a slapdash splash of smeared color that never quite captures the feeling of hurtling down a track. Wow. I'm not gonna lie, this is the first one I would disagree with. I think 55 is a bit harsh. I would maybe position it towards like a 60, 70 at least, but again, it does have a difficulty curve, but nice to at least get perspective. All right, here we go. We're starting to enter the era, guys. From Shadow to what's it called? To Riders, now Rivals with a 64 on the PSP. And to be frankly honest with you, I can kind of get this game. This one has really bad rubber band AI. There's really not much content besides replaying the same 4 levels over and over. So before we get to the review, I can kind of already agree with the score for the most part, right? But Pure Magazine in the UK with a high score gave it an 80. Fast-paced action and plenty of challenges make for a really fun title. Games Master UK over here with a 79. Fast and Furious and good old-fashioned Sonic fun. For all its faults, it looks splendid too, with perspective changes and all manner of background detail, which I agree. I think Sonic Rivals is a really good-looking game. I really like how the characters look in it. I like the colorful environments, but yeah, I can see some of the repetitive nature. As IGN gets into with a 74, it mixes snazzy visuals with a good sense of speed, so there's little doubt of hardcore Sonic fans will find a lot to like. Plus, it has a rewarding multiplayer mode and wager system, which only adds to the experience. Not bad stuff. You do get into some 60s here, right? Games TM. You could do far worse and invest in a copy of Sovereign Rivals. And a nice foundation has been laid for a sequel to eradicate the cracks present here. Damn. All right, with some of the lower ones here, 30. Welcome to the Sonic Hell, where it feels like you're stuck in Rome and some gladiator prison that is being forced to complete mercilessly nonstop with other commands. God damn, bro. This guy was angry at this game. Oh my god, bro. So, for the most part, I mean, I'm shocked at some of the high reviews. It is mostly 70 and 80s. And then, like, honestly, if it wasn't for that 20 and 30, the score would probably be, like, a little bit higher. But I can get this one. This one is fine by me. Oof, bro. Oh my god. Here we are, man. We are in the dark times, and there it is, Sonic 06. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, this one, I don't even gotta say it. I think if anything, a 46 is pretty solidly generous for this game. You know what I mean? I think it is pretty solidly generous for this. But yeah, with a honestly 46 on Metacritic, I'm shocked it even has a high score over here, but it's gonna stop very quickly. So Play Magazine with an 85. You simply can't ask for more of an action game. Mission accomplished. Sonic is born anew. Right? Yeah, 76 for Games Master UK. brilliant and fit its start, but too often mediocre, frustrating to really impress, and a lot of 50s. Oh god, see, this game hordes of bad review, right? At 48 from IGN, it offers good ideas and a handful of exciting moments, but none of this helps this game recover from the catastrophic loss in control. Yeah, can't blame these ones. I mean, games right over the 40. Every installment has us hoping for a return to glory, but each one further crafts on the Hedgehog's legacy. The redeeming qualities here are few and far between, and it's just plain not fun. Damn, it is kind of sad to see that and besides Riders, which is a spin-off, I can understand where this shift sort of happened, right? Because Shadow reviewed poorly, right? And then you had what we were looking at with, you know, Rivals, and then you're getting this, right? Like, you're seeing sort of this shift where they're like, all right, man, we're getting weird stuff. And obviously with 06, I can't blame them with this game shipping not being done, right? Boomtown, there's no easy way to put this. Sonic the Hedgehog is quite possibly the worst Sonic game ever. Jesus, oh my, zero. Sega's decision to rush one of its most beloved franchises to the next-gen market has ended in a broken product that does not even deserve a rental. Wow, that is our first zero we've ever read. I mean, yeah, like, again, there's no really defending 06. I think we all agree and understand why this game reviewed like this, which is why if they remade it and made it a 10 out of 10, it would be one of the biggest moments in gaming. Shit. Next one, Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games in 2007 with a 67. I'm not too mad at that one. You know, I think at the end of the day, as much as I enjoy Mario and Sonic at the Olympics, it is a minigame collection, and in general, critics are a little harsher on minigame collections. Like, you look at Mario Party's Metacritic history, it's not that great either. So for this, I mean, we could see some of the higher ones, like a 90 by UK Magazine. It's both as a family game and a great post-pub entertainment. An 80 from Nintendo Gamer. If you like laughing and sweating, and especially both at the same time, this is Olympic Gold. Some duff events, but you'll be giggling too hard to care. 80 by Video Gamer. Neat ideas like the inclusion of actual world records and the options, the gamble to the potential points you could win from an event around its tidy compilation. All right, okay. This one, again, not too interesting to go through the reviews because I think we can kind of figure the good and bad over here, right? But yeah, 52 here by Gaming Excellence. Mario and Sonic at the Olympic Games turned too quickly into player versus Mario and Sonic Olympic Games, and the result is an unhappy gamer with a set of sore arms. Game Informer with a 40, beginning its hater arc. The game had a chance to go in a different direction on the Wii and do something interesting with the Olympics, but unfortunately merely substitutes remote shaking for button mashing rather than offering genuine fun activities. This one I'm not too mad about. Again, 67, it's a party game. It's not like too unideal. Next up, Sonic and the Secret Rings. I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm even surprised it's this high. I'm gonna be honest. This game I have felt has tried to kill me when I've tried to waggle and go backwards and frontwards. I've like talked about like I like ideas of this game, but it tries to kill you. So I am shocked and even pleasantly surprised that it has even a score this high. It seems like a lot of critics actually really liked it. It's in the greens, man. This is like, I think also this is during the era of Wii where people like the gimmick. So it has points where you must grind for levels like an RPG. It's also not for the people with short attention spans, and it's difficulty at times. Just a touch below Rider's learning curve. You'll have to practice stages over and over to get them right. Makes it not for people who give up on challenging games easily. Poor folks. Still, none of these points make this entirely entry less valid. Damn. Nintendo Power with an 85 after several attempts to modernize Sonic 3D landscape. Sega has taken a big step back in their approach, and that's a good thing. Okay, I'm surprised. I mean, IGN with a 69. Sonic and the Secret Rings offers moments of greatness where I find myself caught up in the intensity of the experience, and oppositely, moments where I want to pull my hair out and throw the Wii remote down because of the imprecise controls or insulting design choice, which I think is valid, right? A lot of 60s and 50s. Control scheme is poor. While it works on a basic level, steering Sonic through levels like Excite Truck vehicles while flicking the Wii remote to attack enemies is more often than not a mess. Yeah, I get that. Some 40s over here. G4 TV with a 40. Loose controls and repetitive levels marred with what could have been a breakout hit for the series that desperately needed one. Honestly, with Secret Rings, like I said, I think this is more, if anything, look, it's higher than the user score. I think the critics were really nice on this game. Next up, we have Sonic Rivals 2 with a 60. And again, I mean, I replayed Rivals recently. It makes sense. These games are not really outstanding. You just kind of go forward, press a button every so often. You know, the AI is whatever, and that's kind of it. So Game Master with an 85, a solid platformer with a twist, and a welcome return to form for our spiny blue friend. Damn, some crazy shit. 45 from 1UP over here. Sonic Rivals is technically a complete game, but in altogether more important areas of the inspiration and design, it's sorely lacking. And then Game Revolution with a 25, an awful, bland story. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think this one is also pretty fair. All right, we're back to some joy over here. Sonic Rush Adventure scoring a nice 78, which again, I think is fine. I think that's pretty great. Overall, much bigger greens, some yellows, but it seems to be that, you know, critics still like the Sonic Rush games, right? Nintendojo with a 95, new and an old interwoven. Sonic Rush Adventure is a shining example of what a sequel can and should be. Nintendo Official Gaming Magazine with a 92, a consummate Sonic experience, reminding us exactly why the blue blur was great in the first place. Plus, it's got tons of replay values tucked inside. Nintendo Power with a 90, Sonic's becoming something of a message board whipping boy these days, but Sonic Rush Adventure proves that of the Hedgehog can still deliver a top-notch platform. So we're sort of seeing it here, right? That sort of shift where you start to, these critics are acknowledging that, like, yeah, Sonic is a bit of a whipping boy, you know, like getting attacked left and right by critics, but there's the moments here, right? Ace Games with a 90, right? Like a gift that never stops giving. Sonic Rush Adventure is chock full of content that never gets dull. Okay, I see that, you know, 88 from Game Master. IGN even with the 80, Sonic Rush Adventure is an improved and worthy sequel to Sonic Rush. Definitely the game to get if you haven't already made the leap of the original title. This makes me happy that critics really like. I mean, and I think it also just shows that, like, advanced Rush style is the wave, Sonic team. I mean, fans love it, critics love it. It's time to lock in. I mean, even in the lower end, right? You get to, like, what? This is the only bad one. A Sonic game struggling to find its own identity. You get to, like, a lot of 70s, 80s over here. Like, overall, like, a lot of high scores and greens and positive scores for this one. So I agree with this one. And honestly, I even think a 78 is a fair score for the game overall. I mean, sometimes the grinding could be a bit of a bitch, but the levels, sprite work, and gameplay are fire. Oh man, then the next one is Sonic Riders Zero Gravity here in 2008 with a 56. Again, one I just cannot agree with, but it just seems like critics don't like Sonic Riders, sadly, with the highest score being a 72 by Cheat Code Central. It's a new and improved Sonic Riders with plenty of new tracks and characters to enjoy. It's a must-have for Sonic fans and a mighty enjoy for the aces of the racing genre, especially for those who like F-Zero and Wipeout, right? Official UK Magazine with a 72, a surprisingly fun effort, but it's just not as solid as it should be. The controls in particular, and the overly complex mechanics might put those, which I find is crazy because I found Sonic Riders Zero Gravity simplified it because of the critics, right? Like, there's way less bottomless pits, it's easier to turn, the mechanics are simpler to understand. I feel like they simplified it down for everybody, right? 40s, another Sonic game that's disappointing. It seems like whenever Sonic jumps off the tiny screens for current handhelds, everything just falls apart. Damn. We are seeing here, like, the sort of collapse in perception of Sonic's console releases, because it feels like the handheld ones are being reviewed fairly well. You know, even with Rivals, it's not bad. It's like in the 60s. But yeah, we're starting to see that shift over here. Nintendo Gamer with a 49, too slow, too short, too annoying. Only graphics have a quality. Sticks with the Sonic Hedgehog Secret Rings or Excite Check if you don't mind the lack of the hog. Man, yeah, this one I don't agree with. I think, like, the Riders games are really fun games that have a bit of a learning curve. When you learn it, it's bliss. This one, I'm not with this. I don't like this one. I'm not with this one. I'm not about that life, bro. Hop off my goat. Wow, that's actually shocking. What the fuck? For as much as fans hate this game, this is a pretty high score for Sonic Chronicles. That 1UP with 100? Sonic Chronicles tight action elements, plenty of fun puzzle solving and exploration opportunities without cramping the fairly traditional RPG style. Wow. Official UK Magazine with a 93. Had Sonic Chronicles simply been a standard RPG with generic characters, it would have still been a fantastic title. The fact that it actually features familiar faces and backgrounds only adds to the enjoyment. Oh my god, Zentendo with a 90. A welcome return of quality Sonic title that brings back memories of first playing Sonic 1 on the Sega Mega Drive with great graphics, great gameplay, and developed storylines that's not overly serious. Sonic's a great addition to the games that only downside that somewhat odd battle system. I'm like shocked. Look at these 90s and 80s all across the board. You know, Sonic Chronicles may annoy you at times, but it certainly won't ever bore you. Wow. I'm shocked because like fans and everybody's kind of collectively agreed this game is ass. But damn, critics really liked it, bro. 80s everywhere. For this one, Nintendo Gamer was 79. Despite being slow starter, it reboots Sonic the franchise with style. There are plenty of solid foundations here for a potentially brilliant sequel. That almost shocks me that they didn't make a sequel when these reviews were really high up. I mean, 70s over here by Eurogamer. Sonic Chronicles is undeniably a nice looking game, and slick presentation make it for an enticing experience to begin with. The longer you play, however, the more the cracks start to show, and what seemed like a potential minor classic is soon reduced to just pretty good. Wow. Yeah, the lowest is just a 50. Damn. I'm really shocked by this one. I don't agree with this one. But it's weird that it scored this side. Damn. And there it is, man. Sonic Unleashed. This one is so funny because, right, like fans stand by Sonic Unleashed. I've replayed this game and I love this game, right? But a title like this just didn't help right now, right? Like getting a 60, I obviously know what all these reviews are gonna make fun of, but I'm curious to read through some of these reviews, right? At the top of the game, hardcore game with a 90. Sonic Unleashed is a glorious return for the console form for Sonic. Some aspects work so well, but then a few glaring flaws spotted. A few more months in development, this game would have received my highest praise. This is still a very solid game to share with the young gamers close to your heart. Okay, some nice reviews at the top, you know, 75. Don't be fooled by the cute and cartoon looking game presented, because beneath the surface there's some intricate and clever design that will test even most ardent of fans. And there it is, the barrage of 70s coming over here, right? I'm sure a lot of these are going to be about the Hedgehog, right? 70 with will many gamers hopes up with the developers really nailed Sonic's portion of the game, but the pure sense of speed action exploring, it will make gaming having flashbacks of earlier Sonic days. Hopefully the next game will focus on this instead of adding gimmicks to the series, right? Yeah, IGN with a 4.5, an iconic review from IGN. They tossed one of the dumbest twists in the history of gaming. A Hedgehog, really? Stretchy arms? Did anyone actually believe this was going to be fun? Gone are any elements of speed, replaced with mindless and poor designed brawling segments with some terrible platforming sections. I mean, fuck, man. Some of these are brutal, bro. Or Eurogamer, compared to Mario Galaxy or Ratchet, heck, even compared to Crash, another platforming mascot marred in mediocrity. Sonic Unleashed is an obviously poor effort from a series that is hopelessly lost in modern gaming landscape. Makes you sad if they try to bring back Unleashed. They gotta do a lot of work to make the Hedgehog enjoyable in like critics' mind, but even though fans love it, I'm gonna put a disagree on this one. I think Sonic Unleashed is a much better game than just a 60. I think bare minimum, like, should have at least had a 70 plus maybe, but again, like, it was a different time. Hurts to see though. Not really worth talking about because it's an old game port, but it's nice to see critics still like Sonic 3. With the Mario side games, I think I'm just gonna skip the reviews. Like, I'll look at it, but it's, I mean, they're the Olympic Games. They're all gonna review the same, like, fun mini game collection. Oh no, my goat, no. Sonic in the Black Knight with a 54, lower than Secret Rings. Are you fucking crazy? Nah, this one hurt me more than the Unleashed one. Man, dude, that one hurts, man. At the top of the game for Sonic in the Black Knight, 80 by Nintendo Power. If you're looking for an engaging, unique, and well-polished take on the world's most famous Hedgehog, Sonic in the Black Knight delivers. Sonic in the Black Knight provides, despite all its faults, a few hours of nice amusement. I mean, in some sense, I get it. It's a really short game. It's one that's kind of straightforward and pretty waggly, but I just love the style and story so much. I wish that mattered to a lot of these people. Nintendo World Report with a 65. For every interesting mission, there's an equally lackluster one. The platforming is satisfying, but the sword combat is awful. This is a game that checks and bounces, and in the end, it's just another mediocre Sonic game. So it's also interesting to see that critics really don't like the gimmicks that Sonic goes with over the years, right? Like, they really dislike Hedgehog. They don't like the Riders gimmick. They don't like, you know, the Black Knight gimmick. I feel like the more Sonic Team tried to do a gimmick with Sonic instead of just a straightforward level, the more they got annoyed by it, right? You know, a lot of 60s over here, 50s, man. It seems that Sonic Team is emerging ever so slowly from the hole it's dug itself into with the Sonic Riders. Man, see this, I just get so sad here because this is like, we've gone through a few of these where I feel like it's just mean. But hey, Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing with a nice 75. I guess they finally found something they like that isn't, you know, riders. But overall, racing, Sega All-Stars reviewed pretty well. You know, Game Shark with 100. It's a win-win for gamers, with kids and Sega fans alike. Finally, a Sonic game that you don't need to be 10 years old to enjoy. Okay, whoa. Yo, hop off you, bro. Chill. Honestly, man, like, that's why I hope Sonic Racing Crossroads is really good, because Sonic Racing can review really well and be super fun based on like all these, a lot of 80s, man. Damn. A lot of 80s and 70s. Even when you get to the 70s, it's like, what? No, Sonic doesn't reach the level of brilliance of Mario Kart Wii, but Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing is still a very charming and challenging racing game for a younger audience. So yeah, not bad. I mean, even when you go on the lower end, damn, this guy Hellboard, it looks like Mario Kart, i.e. pretty blood average. It plays sort of like Mario Kart. The colors are as bright as the soundtrack, just as irritating as Mario Kart. Well, that's great. One may as well say, finally, we've got a decent car racer on the Xbox and PS3. Sadly, no. The one thing Sonic and Sega All-Stars Racing has failed to rip off from Mario Kart is fun. Damn, bro. Okay, so this guy already just doesn't like Mario Kart. So to see Sega do it, he was like, nah. This is where my fucking anger flows through my veins. So this is, I guess, the port of Sonic Adventure. But I know, but like, oh, you bitch. Oh, I'll remember this. Fuck you. 48 for highest is a 7-year Sonic Adventure isn't the beaming example of a Dreamcast development excellence, with its annoying camera issue, unnecessary side character missions, and an on and off gameplay enhancement. Gamer's Temple with a 70. Sonic Adventure is still a great game like it was in the 90s when it's on Dreamcast, but nothing has changed at all with the Xbox Live port. 70 for Gamer. If you've never played the game but want to find out what it's like, get this version. If you played the original and want to be taken to $9.99 without having to dig out your Dreamcast, this is $10. Okay. These guys are nice, right? Sonic Adventure Reparation has contradictory results. It is a charming game. We all remember it, but the formula has aged badly. Man, you guys are just dick. Bro, there is no... Only the most ardent Sonic fans need to apply. For the rest of us, some good game memories should remain memories. Thunderbolt with a 40. Rather than begging the question of whether or not the Dreamcast title is still relevant, this port clearly indicates that it isn't. Even as curiosity, I would advise you Sonic Adventure is a I'm angry, bro. I'm so fucking angry. You're kidding. Game Shark with a 33. There's almost nothing to like about. So I'm not doing this. No, I'm out. Fuck you. No, I actually just angered myself. I can't believe it. Next one, Sonic the Hedgehog Spinball on iOS. I mean, 4 reviews of the 68. Cool. I mean, yeah, while Spinball fans will continue to balk, Sonic Spinball is fun enough and quirky enough to remain fresh and relevant. Good for the iPhone fan. All right, back to some joy with a mainline Sonic game review-wise. We have Sonic Colors, which was massively successful with critics with a green in the nice 78. Probably the first time in a long time, which this isn't shocking at all. People talk about Sonic Colors now having flaws, but back then, people just loved this game. You know, I'm telling you, I was there when reviews dropped for this game. And look at these, right? 90 for Nintendo Power. A fantastic game. Not just a step in the right direction, but unequivocal success. In fact, it's the best entry the series has had since the 16-bit heydays. Nintendo Life with a 90. To call Sonic Colors the best 3D Sonic game ever is a damn with faint praise. Although its title is deserved, that the action is fast enough to satisfy your speed lust, whilst the Wish powers introduce plenty of new skills and ways to explore stages that could just be straight whips to finish. This was probably a big booster mentally for Sonic Team. I mean, like a 3D Sonic game just reviewing well, doing well critically, and like I said, I'm telling you, man, this game really like was huge back at the time. Look at all these 80s, man. Good shit for this game. Sonic is one of the best 3D Sonic games today. The best Sonic Hedgehog game on Wii, and certainly a strong contender for Super Mario Galaxy's crown. Fucking huge praise. Overall, a lot of good enjoyment. Some on the lower end. Destructoid. Wow. Sonic Colors feels like a step right back in the same crap this series has drowned in for the past decade. If I had to pick a color for this game, it would be brown for very obvious reasons. Whoa. Okay, whoa. My hand, whoa. Wow, another controversial one where the fans hate this game and critics to an extent liked it. And I think, honestly, I mean, I've said this before, man. This is my hot take. I think this game is pretty much a yellow. It is a mix of average, you know, but honestly, I'm shocked at some of the praise it gets. With Games Radar 90, it's deserving of your time and money despite its length, but most importantly, it's deserving of the name Sonic the Hedgehog 4. That's fucked up. Don't say that shit. That was always going to be this game's biggest challenge, but it succeeded with aplomb. That's insane that they said that. Holy shit, Eurogame with a 90. In short, this is a game Sega should have made 15 years ago. It's a shame that it took this many. So it's weird. So like, we just had a bit of a downward spiral, right? But now we're seeing another upward spiral, right? With Sonic Colors reviewing well, and this one reviewing pretty well, right? Totally video games with a 90. The fact is, Sonic 4's first episode is so much fun, it makes you forget about the world and think of nothing but the game. It encapsulates the pure thrilling gameplay many contemporary titles seem contaminaously forget. Wow. Shit, dude, y'all really enjoyed this. 60 from Guardian. Sonic is still straight up one of the most aggravating characters in any game on any platform. Yo, chill on my mans, bro. Holy shit, what did you have to say? Oh my god, game style with a 30. This new title feels like it was made by someone who has only ever seen YouTube videos of the 2D Sonic games and taken a very poorly educated guess on how it should control. Game Watcher with a 40. Sonic 4 is an utter mess of a game, cobbled together in a manner that puts the entire franchise to shame. It feels sluggish, broken, and lazy, but at least it only lasts a couple of hours. Damn, there were some damn haters here, but overall, 74 for the game, I think it's pretty okay. I'm not too mad at this score. Next one of the highest reviewed ones is, yes, Sonic CD with an 82 for the Xbox, release of the game. Damn, I'm shocked. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I love Sonic CD, but critics from, when we read that old Gems Collection review thing to now seeing it here, critics seem to just really love Sonic CD. 90 from Games Radar. Basically, I love this game. And I love it to the way that both fans of CD and newcomers should be able to love it too. Fans will love the care and attention, give it to the conversion over to an all-time great Sonic game. Destructed with a 90. Sonic CD is a great game. I paid $300 for an attachment and $50 for the game back in the 90s. To see Sonic at his best. Now all you need is $5 and a few minutes of a file download. Sega could have easily charged twice as much for this beloved classic. Well, I mean, overall, yeah, I mean, this one's a good sell. I mean, high 80s. The lowest you get to is like a 67. Sonic CD may now look pretty game-wise, although it's a fun romp of the retro gaming realm. Damn. So, yeah, I mean, overall, people still love Sonic CD shit. Love that. Cool. I mean, I'm honestly shocked this one reviewed like a little lesser since people really love this one, but I guess critics are just tired of the Olympics at this point. Another high praise with Generation. So, okay, we are seeing that, like, in this, like, in the last three games, Sonic's getting his footing back, which we've always talked about. This ended up happening, right, where we have nice praises for some of the handheld stuff. We're getting praises for colors, some of the ports they're doing. And, of course, Generations, a universally beloved one. I feel like this one is, I'm shocked it's not even higher than this score. But this, I feel, is the least exciting one to go through because everybody kind of just likes Sonic Generations with a 91. But bottom line, if you have ever been a fan of Sonic the Hedgehog during the series, 2 decades history, then this is your game, right? IGN with an 85. It's refreshing to be able to say that Sonic is good again. His upward trajectory over the last year continues. He's only gaining momentum. Good shit over here. 85 from Impulse Gamer. It's a fun and frustrating, but at its heart, Sonic Generations is a perfect game for those players that want something a little different as opposed to the overcrowded first-person shooters, racers in the market, which, yeah, I guess at the time that was kind of like a big deal, right? That they had these different, not these different games, but these Sonic games review like this, and have it, be appraised because at the time we were just getting shooters. I'm honestly shocked, if anything, at some of these lower reviews for this game, right? Level 7 NU with a 60. Sonic Gens lets you play as 2 different Sonics, one from the present, one from the past. First levels are amazing, but the level design soon gets dull. The time trials and music is good though. Damn, that feels like a harsh score for what you're thinking. There's good in here, but too much mediocre or just plain bad moments to recommend playing full retail. So overall, I think with Sonic Gens reviews, I would probably put it up where it is with Shadow Gens at an 83. Like, I still think OG Gens is probably good. So even though this is a great review, I do a little bit disagree. But again, nice to see that Sonic is reviewing well here. Damn. Critics do not like Sonic the Fighters, I guess, sitting at a 47 over here. Not many people reviewed the port to the Xbox, but Gaming Age enjoys it, right? Sonic the Fighters may be simple and easy to play, but it's too obscure to ignore. The cheap price and overall changes of the title is good enough. Honestly, I mean, Sonic the Fighters, very wonky, difficult game with like 0 content almost in it, so it's a hard recommend, right? Another new release with a great release score, Sonic and All-Stars Racing Transform. So early 2009, 2010s, doing well for Sonic. Obviously, this game, fans love it, but it's nice to know reviewers love it. Again, this one is another one that's like not as exciting to look at critics-wise because it's a great card game, right? 91 from Gaming Age. It's a great callback to Sega characters and franchises and provides heavy emphasis on fan service while maintaining a level of quality not often seen in car racers outside of the Nintendo development. It seriously feels like a love letter to longtime Sega fans and it's certainly worth picking up, which honestly, like with how these games reviewed, I'm shocked they didn't continue the Sega and Sonic racing and have just opted for Sonic. And not just that, but like I can understand critically, right, why they opted out of Riders series and have gone for car racers, because these are the ones reviewing well for them and doing well for them sales wise, you know, whereas like Riders isn't sold as well and hasn't reviewed as well. And so besides the fans that really love it, I think style that carries over to what people want, the racing games seem to be like Sega's easy W. I mean, look at the 80s over here. It's a balanced and entertaining race then, but above all else, Transformed is incredible fan service. Damn. Honestly, that the fact that there's only 5 yellows and like 33 greens, pretty big. And I agree with it. I think everybody agrees this game is fire. Damn, I'm shocked. I mean, not many reviews for Sonic Jump, but like pretty high reviews for the mobile game. 100 by Slide to Play. Sonic Jumps takes a long dormant genre and breathes new life into it, which cool, man. High reviews for a game where you don't run and you jump, right? You know, this is so interesting to get the Sonic 4 Episode 2 score, where fans dislike Sonic 4 Episode 1 a lot, but really enjoy Episode 2, whereas critics, it seems like it's the opposite. They really enjoyed Episode 1, but Episode 2, they went hella lower on, which is so weird. Like, what happened, right? So at the top of the game with an 83, except for the surprisingly annoying music and the rather short playtime, Sonic shows his best side. The levels are big and invite you to explore. Team actions are entertaining. If you're also into retro gameplay, this is the one for you. Damn, these guys really hated the OST. 50 from Game Informer. Playing Sonic 4 Episode 2 co-op is like returning to your favorite family vacation destination as an adult and bringing along a friend. You're pointing at the broken attraction and try to convince them how good things used to be, but no amount of nostalgia can change the fact that powers that had to be to your beloved memory deteriorate. Jesus Christ, man. Gamer Blog at 40, the original question, is it better when with 2 players? The answer is yes, but it's still quite mediocre. Pretty much better design than the first one, but Episode 2 remains a sad version of a platform with annoying muscles and dulled level design. Damn. Overall, this one, I'm going to say, like, I don't agree with this one. I would put Sonic 4 Episode 2 at more of a 70, and then I'd put the OG at around like a 60. You know what I mean? Hello, I've returned with glasses because I'm recording later in the night. But yes, the next review that pulls up is Sonic Lost World with a 63 on Metacritic, which I'm not going to lie to you, I think is probably one of the more accurate scores on here as well. I think for what Lost World is, I kind of agree. I think it is a very okay video game. It's not bad. Like it looks good. It plays, you know, fine, and it's just an average thing. You play and you move on, right? Nintendo World Report really did love it with a 90 over here, saying its best moments feels like the first accurate representation of classic 2D Sonic gameplay in 3 dimensions. Oh god, holy shit. Shiny's with a 20. Okay, Sonic Lost World is not a 20, bro. It doesn't take long, however, to realize that Sonic Team was inspired by Galaxy on a cosmetic level only. Lost World fails to execute on the gameplay afforded by circular words. In fact, in nearly every aspect of its design, it's evident that Sonic Team has never asked the crucial question: why? Damn, bro. I think this is too much. Like 20s and 30s for the game. Even here, it's depressing that one modern game that shows the most efforts is also the least satisfying to play. But if Sonic is ever to work in 3 dimensions, Sonic Lost World gives no clues on how it might work. Yeah, I mean, I think the game is pretty mediocre, but yeah, putting it in like the 30 and 40s, this is like something you give to a game that's like broken or some shit. So I do think it's a little harsh, maybe, but I think it's not completely off base. I think a 63 is fine. Sonic Dash is one that I don't necessarily think is an interesting one to look back. Review wise, 69 makes sense. It's a mobile game, you know, it's got microtransactions. You run, you exist. Damn, bro, these Olympic games already weren't reviewing that well, but holy shit, this one is definitely, I agree with this too. As someone who played the Wii U, I think the Wii U Olympic games are probably the worst in the series. They're definitely like the ones with the least amount of content. They're the lamest. No one's playing online because it's the Wii U. It's the definition of mediocrity. All right, now we get into what also tarnishes Sonic's reputation is Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal with a 47 over here on the 3DS, right? So highest it ever goes is 70. Interesting, funny, and clever. Not the best Sonic game ever made, but it's definitely better than Sonic Boom's Wii U version. If you need blue speed this year, this is your game. Okay, these guys were okay with it, but dude, it right away goes to like the 60s here, right? Nintendo Life, if you're a Sonic fan and you enjoy platformers, you could do an awful lot worse, and this may be one to grab should the opportunity at a bargain price or eyes. Damn, bro. Same way you would get those shitty licensed cartoon games. That's sort of what Sonic Boom is, right? Where Sonic Team had no involvement and it was just kind of like a cartoon and there were cartoon writers on it. And, you know, a different developer was on these games. It wasn't even Sonic Team. It was just no care put into these. So I this score is completely fine. And then, of course, Boom. Somehow way lower than Sonic 06, which is actually commendable. Sonic Boom, one of the worst reviewed games ever. One of the worst reviewed Wii U games ever. And by far the worst reviewed Sonic game with a massive whopping 32, which I agree with, man. I mean, I've played this game on stream. It's bad. I mean, it is genuinely the most mediocre, lame thing ever. I mean, the highest this game gets is a 55. I so agree with this review. It's like, it's not broken. It's just so painfully slow, boring, and lame that it literally just, it's offensive in that sense, you know. Games Radar with a 50. Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric is too slow paced, too easy, and too challenges for teen or adult Sonic fans. And its control and design issues make it difficult to recommend even for its target audiences. Damn, bro, look at this shit. 43 from IGN. Its exploration is so and so. Its brawling is tedious. Its characters are annoying, and the only stage where it feels like a Sonic game are the ones most likely to suffer. Dude, the fucking Sonic stages in the game are like automated. It's so bad. I mean, yeah, this one's not a surprise. Like, all of these are genuinely oh my god, dude, 20s. This is actually like bottom of the barrel. Like, at least with 06's reviews, shockingly, there were some decent ones, or one saying it was solid, but it was bad. But damn, bro, this shit really hurt, man. Sonic Boom, I think, really fucked things up severely. Like, this is the point where I was like, all right, isn't this, yeah, like one of the worst games ever? It hurt, bro. Damn, now this is one that I think a lot of fans of us don't agree with. Sonic Runners being a 51 is fucking crazy, because I love Sonic Runners. I think it's beautiful. Music's awesome. It's like addicting, but it's so sad to see that it got, I mean, only has 6 reviews, but still, like, Destructoid with a 60. Unfortunately, the team in charge of that team decided that said fun should be gated by needless locks with cash keys, which is a problem. Give it a go and see if you could stomach the microtransactions. As for myself, I'll take it breaks. Damn. I guess I did have microtransactions. Number 4, the Gymquisition. I don't like it, okay? Stop it. Stop, Sonic Runners. Stop doing everything you're doing. Well, except that part where you allow yourself to be a game buried under mountains of disgraceful gibberish. Also, the load times are crap. Damn, bro. We got a 50 by 3D Juegos. Sonic goes endless runner with a deep and enjoyable platform adventure ruined by abusive pay-to-win system. Damn, I guess I don't remember how abusive the pay-to-win elements were for the game. So shit, that hurts. Oh my god, just look at this shit right here. Like, Sonic Runners 50, Sonic Dash 2 60, Sonic and Rio the Olympic Games 2016 fucking 60, Sonic Boom Finals. Like, this is just, this era just hurts, bro. You're just seeing this massive window of Sonic games like this, like from the 2013 era, which is funny. It's like the Wii U era also, just bad. But and then, thus, one day after a few years of the Boom reign ending, we get the saving grace here, which is Sonic Mania, which by the look at the score, top 5 or top 7 most highest reviewed Sonic game, 76 reviews, and all across the board, I mean, beloved reviews, man. 65 greens, 5 yellows. I mean, this is probably the least interesting one to read, just because everyone loves this game. But yeah, I mean, Sonic Mania surpasses the Mega Drive Genesis originals. It is not only incorporating what made Sonic great, but has the inventiveness to shatter what is possible in a 2D platformer. As a nostalgia chip, it sets the bar for what comes next for the modding community. For those unexposed to what made 2D Sonic great, this is still a solid game. I mean, dude, look at this, bro. Hundreds on hundreds over here, right? Finally, we have a return to form that Sonic fans have been waiting for all these years. This isn't just one of the best Sonic games, but one of the best Sonic games, full stops. You owe it to yourself to get a copy of this masterpiece. I mean, $20 for this game was also a steal. Look at all these like amazing high praise reviews, bro. Look at that. Game Blog with the 90. Sonic Mania is a solid game that reminds of how amazing in terms of design. With the 16-bit episodes, we can say this game is inarguably a new classic for the Blue Hedgehog, and that it has become a reference for future titles of the franchise. Damn. And it's just crazy to just see like how like universally beloved Sonic Mania is, man. Like, this shit just makes me happy. It's so amazing. The fact that, again, the lowest it ever gets to is a 60 by this one dude at its best. Sonic Mania makes classic classic zones from past Sonic game Hedgehogs feel unpredictable again. But yeah, I mean, all across the board, Mania was a success in the critics' eyes and also the fans. I feel like it's actually more offensive that Runner's Adventures scored better than Runners. I'm hurt right now. All right, and then immediately after Mania puts our progress up, Forces comes back with a big whopping 57, which again isn't awful, but I think this score, I think this is one of the most fair Sonic scores ever. I mean, yeah, Sonic Forces to me is in the 50s. It's like not awful. It is just so painfully average. But let's see what critics had to say. At the high points, PlayStation Lifestyle gave it an 80. There's moments early on in Sonic Forces where Sonic says that it's not time for thinking, it's time for running. Not only does he perfectly describe his series' design philosophy, he also sets the blueprint for who will enjoy this game. If you're willing to turn your brain off for a few hours, just take the pure spectacle. This is watching hundreds of Sonic characters fighting on a battlefield during a cutscene, then you'll find a lot to enjoy you. It's a really dumb game at its core, but also just pure fun. Okay, that's our ringing endorsement there. 77 from Gamer Sky. At the latest generation of the Sonic series, Sonic Forces retains the high-speed game experience. To comply with the trend of the time, Sonic Forces reduces the difficulty, hoping to use this strategy will attract new players who have never tried this kind of game. I mean, a lot of these are in the 50s, damn, some of these in the 40s though, shit. As a game, it's unfocused, erratic, undeniably loud, but it's ultimately a hollow franchise entry where an excessive energy has been mistaken for excitement. But yeah, I think overall, Forces reviews probably the most, well, not the most, but fairly accurate. Sonic Mania Plus, I mean, not really much we can add here. I mean, it's just Mania with more content, so it reviewed a point higher. Yay, I'm happy people love Mania. Oh man, Team Sonic Racing with a 72, which honestly, I think that's a perfect score for this game. I agree. The game is kind of just good. I can see why, you know, we look back at these reviews. All-Stars Racing Transformers way higher reviewed, and so is All-Stars just Racing reviewed much better. And I think we can see why, but I think we all know why, right? So at the top, CG Magazine gave it a 95. Holy shit. Team Sonic Racing refines and advances the genre in creative ways that make it a must-play for both kart racing and Sonic fans alike, which is easy to do thanks to its budget price. Yeah, it was $40. I guess maybe that made reviewers a little happier. IGN gave it an 85, right? Team Sonic nails what matters most, speed and finesse on the racetrack. The new team system is a fantastic evolution of the arcade racing formula that gives you a real reason to work together. And there's a litany of customization options to keep you coming back to the excellent tracks to earn more. Even though the small roster and annoying adventure mode could be better, Team Sonic Racing is an addictive and inventive evolution that proves Sumo Digital is at the top of the game. Damn, I mean, I agree for the most part that like the racing mechanics are really solid. And what Sumo Digital did with it was fun. I just thought the team mechanic was kind of whatever, and like I wish it had gotten more content, but seeming like a lot of good reviews overall. Honestly, this one I think we could kind of all agree is also one that, you know, it makes sense, but again, it's sad to see that it did score lower. But I do think that means Team Sonic Racing, Crossroads, whatever they're doing, could be fucking crazy. I think that game might be back in the 80s territory. I think that can review well. We are now in 2019 with another Olympics review. Yeah, again, it's the Olympics. It's very clear the critics don't really care for these games. I mean, nor do the fans. I think people kind of like these games, but that feels like where the buck stops. Wow, funny enough, right, we went from Sonic Colors earlier that scored like what, around like the 80s, to then Sonic Colors Ultimate, which is at a 74, which kind of lowers the score a little bit here. I'm shocked, you know, but I don't know. I mean, it's mixed overall, but this, see, to me, I wonder, like going through this, is this going to be a case of they're judging the remaster or are they judging the game differently? So Gaming Edge gave it 100 though over here. So Sonic Colors Ultimate is exactly what it claims to be, an ultimate version of an already decent Sonic title. Many gamers dismissed it the first time, but if you're a Sonic fan, you owe it to yourself to check this one out. Blind Scroll Games did an excellent job changing what needed to be changed and leaving what worked originally intact. Super fun, challenging, and reasonably priced. This is a perfect time to celebrate Sonic the Hedgehog's 30th anniversary. A lot of great reviews. I'm curious, what are the lower ones talking about? I'm just really, like 50 over here, really? Well, it's exciting for fans to see the new version of their beloved games. Unfortunately, this is not the case for every game. When we look back and realize some games don't just fit the profile, Sonic series seems to be going down the path, and unless the developers inject some really cool and exciting new ideas, titles like Colors Ultimate will be nothing more than a good old memory. See, this feels disingenuous. Like, just, you're dismissing the game because of the state of the franchise. That's a weird one, right? This one's 50. Sonic Colors Ultimate is a faithful remake of the 2010 game that you'll enjoy if you're either a dedicated fan or a child that doesn't mind the easy difficulty. Otherwise, there's not much to love here with floaty gameplay and unengaging story. Damn, a 50? That seems kind of harsh over here. 60 by Meta Central. Technically, it's still the best modern Sonic if you don't count Sonic Mania, but time has not been particularly kind to neither in an unambitious remaster. Yeah, I guess for the most part, it's hard. With remasters, a lot of like reviewers I noticed tend to review like whether it has extra content or not. Some of them review it based on like, is it worth going back to instead of the quality? But I mean, I know fans have a lot of issues with how Colors Ultimate does lighting and stuff, but I mean, 74 to 80, probably. It's not bad. At least it's decent reviews. I would have liked it to be in the green because it's still a good game, but I can live with this. Again, another one that's hard to judge, but glad Sonic Origins reviewed in the greens here. I think this makes sense. I mean, it's a good compilation of all the old games. Probably the best way to play these old games today, to be frankly honest with you. You know, you're getting them HD, widescreen, all the content you possibly can. Having a 78 when it really is just here's all the old stuff again is pretty solid. And we have Sonic Frontiers with a 70 flat on Metacritic and a 95 reviews. This is, man, this game was a little higher when it launched, I remember. I do think Sonic Frontiers, especially now with the DLC and everything, is probably like if they had been re-reviewed with everything, probably would have maybe scored like 75 to 80, right? But on launch, with how it was and how like the perception of Sonic was, I still think this was good considering, you know, Sonic Lost World had just gotten what, a 50 like we saw. Sonic Forces has gotten like a 57 from what we saw. We had Sonic Boom. Like this, to be frankly honest with you, for a 3D Sonic game was pretty good. You know, top of the line Attack of the Fanboy at 90. Sonic Frontiers really picks up the slack where the franchise started to falter. It's still a Sonic game. That score, make sure to stay true to the name, even when branching out into other areas unfamiliar to the series. A lot of really good reviews. To the more middling ones, let's see what they say. Like here, well played with 70. While it may be far from perfect, Sonic Frontiers is a colossal step up in the right direction for the future of the neon blue needle mouse. Its issues are more stumbles than fails, with the action and exploration creating a memorable experience. Okay, see, this is like, and this is the ones I want to see here, right? Like a 20, while not outright broken like Sonic 06 or Sonic Boom, Sonic Frontiers is heavily misguided. A game that muffles good ideas with questionable narrative, technical, and gameplay good design choices. Side Team continues to demonstrate it's not quite sure what to do with the blue blur, taking a wild swing with a game that tries to rival open world games rather than double down strengths like Gens or Mania or older successive like the Adventure Dust. Damn, a 20 is so fucking harsh, even at 30. A game that never feels comfortable giving you full command of its star. We are left feeling blue, but not in a way Sonic Team intended. These are like extreme ones. Games Radar with a 40. Frontiers features the kind of lightweight yet engaging storytelling that should easily enrapture fans and young ones. Though I'd hate to be a child that forced you to play through some of the abysmal platforming throughout. Was taking Sonic to an open world ambition endeavor? Yes. Did it pay off? Absolutely not. Damn. Some of these are mean, right? I don't think so. I think putting Sonic around Frontiers around the 70s probably makes the most sense, right? Obviously, like I said, like this is a big deal. That think about how many reviews this game has. I mean, this game has a shit ton of big 70s, a lot of 80s, right? A lot of 80s in the reviews, you know, and it keeps going. There's some 90s. So overall, like a really enjoyable thing for critics. And it shows that, okay, like even the consensus critics-wise is that this game was great and that a sequel can go crazy. Nice to see that again. A 75, pretty good. It's in the green over here. 80, despite a bare-bones story, this is the best the 3D Sonic game fans have been waiting for a long time. Solid graphics, great voice acting, tight assisted gameplay to help jumping off rails, and really fun boss fights make this worth investing. Damn, I mean, these reviewers pretty much enjoyed the game. Destructoid over here, the hater. GT deserves appreciation. And sure, it's not the worst, but it's certainly not the best. With just enough to satisfy classic Sonic fans and those seeking to experience the Hedgehogs in adventures in 3D. But yeah, I mean, Sonic Dream Team, I would say is a 75. I think it's a pretty good score. I think now with even all the content DLC it has, is probably higher than that. But overall, that's fine. I'm cool with this. All right, I can see we're on an upstand. We're on an upwards trend now. right? You know, some of these good reviews over here with Murder of Sonic joining that in with an 82 on Metacritic over here, a 100 by Noisy Pixel. The Murder of Sonic the Hedgehog is a must-play experience. Sega has hit it with the out of the park with a Sonic-themed murder mystery visual novel, boasting captivating storytelling, fantastic character interactions, as well as a stellar presentation and soundtrack of similar quality. Wow. It's cool to see that this game reviewed really well, right? Critics liked it. Obviously, it wasn't a highly reviewed game. Like, not many people reviewed it because it was a surprise launch, but I'm glad it adds up to the score. And next up, we have Sonic Superstars with a 73 on Metacritic, which, again, I'm not going to lie to you, for a 2D, for this game, I think that's a pretty solid score. Do I like it a little bit more than that? Probably, but do I think this is too off base? No, I mean, wow, this is like almost perfectly positive and mixed. Interesting, right? Highest review goes to a 91. There are many hours to play in Sonic Superstars, whether you play mostly single player like me or co-op. There is a fun for every Sonic fan, and I feel like fans will be happy with this one. Even with Super Mario Bros. Wonder around the corner, it's going to be a great game this holiday season for platforming fans. So that's kind of cool. You know, a 90 by the Games Machine, right? Those who expected major innovations in Superstars should not have expected major innovations. Sonic always remains Sonic, precisely because he is Sonic. New heights have been reached in the particular type of level design with alternate sections in which the Hedgehog splashes like a pinball, apparently without any possibility of control on our part. With almost pixel perfect movement with excellent timing also required, bosses, as always, require a careful analysis of the movement patterns. Everything else is a pleasant side dish, but the base there is always the old but superlative Sonic gameplay, which we're going to see a lot of these reviews and they probably say this. Had this game not had the multiplayer, I feel like it might have actually reviewed a little bit better, right? Because here 50 Superstars ultimately gets bogged down by regularly sidetracks the players. Yeah, tripping them in almost every conceivable opportunity. There are glimmers of brilliance that occasionally shine throughout, but overall experience is tiresome one playthrough. That's kind of crazy. Eurogame with a 60 respectable platforming and classic Sonic elements are undermined by inconsistent new one. I mean, yeah, it is a game that's a bit all over the place, but yeah, for the most part, it's still cool to see like they're not hating the game. I mean, these are pretty average scores. And our journey ends with Sonic X Shadow Generation scoring a great 80 over here. And man, some awesome reviews for this game. Mostly all positive, 66 positive scores with 11 mixed. And I mean, this game's a new one, so it's probably the least interesting to check out. But it's nice to see how much people really ended up loving this package and ended up loving Shadow Generations, right? Like let's see PSX Brazil over here. Sonic Shadow Gens is basically two excellent games in one. Sonic Generations is a remaster of one of the Hedgehog's best titles, while Shadow is a new game that builds on Sonic Frontiers formula to revisit the past of one of the most beloved characters by fans. Shadow's gameplay mechanics are great, levels are fun, and exploring the white space is great. It's a complete and recommended package. Game rate with a 90, even in a post-Astrobot world, Sonic X Shadow Gen serves as an epic reminder of how untouchable both Sonic and Sega can be when they're firing on all cylinders. And its treasure trove of content and top-notch presentation make it an easy recommendation, regardless of it not being a blemish-free experience. But I mean, cool shit like that. People really enjoyed this game, and it feels like, again, critics are easing up a bit on Sonic. You know, a lot of good reviews overall. Lower it ever gets to his 60 by GameSpot, which is fucking crazy. Sonic Shadow Gens is a weird package. On one hand, Sonic Generations is a remaster of a great game from 2011 that feels outdated, and on the other, Shadow Gens is the conclusion to a story that the franchise hasn't really cared about since 2006. As someone who has specifically got the Sonic games during the early 2000s period, this collection feels like it speaks directly to me, but it also feels like its protagonist, lost in place, out of time, and desperate to return to fonder times. It's nice enough to drop down memory lane, but the trip features all the speed bumps you'd expect. This one's lame. I mean, to be frankly honest with you, I think for the most part, a lot of the high reviews probably make the most sense for this one, and I'm glad we're in a place where Sonic games are reviewing well. Woof! And that is everything. That is a complete look back of the history of Sonic's Metacritic. So overall, how do I feel? I honestly think, looking back, a lot of the reviews were fair. For a lot of them, I was actually pleasantly surprised at how decently fair a lot of the reviews were. But there were those like slim moments where I noticed, like, you know, because of how people felt about Sonic or how gimmicks were felt about at the time, that like some really hurt me. Like seeing how Riders was reviewed hurt me. Seeing how like Black Knight was reviewed hurt me. Seeing how Unleashed was reviewed hurt me. But it showed me once again that, like, in general, the critics don't really like when Sonic overly relies on gimmicks, but when they just make it a straight up game, those review better. Like Frontiers reviews better, Generations reviews better, Adventure 1 and 2 review better, right? Like I feel like the games that are just doing the thing, right? Even Sonic Colors reviews better, whereas like the games that have like a gimmick or a side thing, I notice is when critics are a little bit more rude. But hopefully and thankfully we're in a place now where we've always argued whether, you know, critics and fans of Sonic like are always having a back and forth, and you can tell here where those back and forths come from. But I do think, you know, a lot more props than I thought to some of these being pretty fair. And as always, reviews are just an average of a score together, instead of just being, you know, you could look at always the top score that appeals to you. But hey man, sometimes you need to hear something you don't want to if you don't want to buy a game at full price. And also, this is why I don't review games. I mean, I don't give games numbers, but it was just a fun trip down mystery lane. Guys, what did you think? What do you think are the craziest review scores in here? What do you think could have been reviewed better, reviewed worse even? Guys, let me know your thoughts. I love you. And of course, I'll see you all next time. Peace out.